everyone, welcome back to The Flow. This is a podcast where we aim to learn and spread awareness of the lethal effects of period poverty. It's a public health crisis that affects hundreds of thousands of people around the world. Follow along on our journey as we go with the flow.
Today's guests are Laura and Alicia, founders of Sisters on the Streets. Sisters on the Streets is an organization working to help women in need. They're on a mission to spread awareness and make a difference while ending the stigma of homelessness and menstruation. Their message: help us help the homeless, and hygiene is a must. Donations start with us. So welcome, Laura and Alicia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Thank you guys for being here with us.
We're excited to have you.
All right, so starting off, can you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your organization and what you guys are doing?
I'll start off with who we are and you tell us what we're doing. All right, so my name's Laura. I'm the founder of Sisters on the Streets. We're super grassroots. We started in December of 2016. I started a homeless voter registration campaign, and I was going to the winter shelters. I was taking voter registration forms down to like parks and down the washes and in the shelters and getting people to sign up so they could vote. And it was kind of there when I saw the need for period products, specifically in shelters, because agencies don't get funded for that kind of stuff. And, that was like 4 years ago. And, once people heard about what we were doing, everyone wanted to be a part of it. So even though we are like an agency, I consider us more of a movement.
My name's Alicia Monroy. I'm the co-founder. And in 2016, once Laura started her homeless outreach, I would also go out into encampments and different areas and just provide food and hygiene for those who are experiencing homelessness. And one of the needs that was asked for was period products. And I never really thought about it. And I think a lot of people mostly focus on food and blankets, which is very important. But once I heard period products, I was thinking, how did I not realize that? There's a lot of outreach groups out there that have a lot of men, and they don't really know the need or how much to give, or they're not comfortable. Some of them think like they could give them a period product and it'll last them for a few months, and obviously it won't. So we started putting together period kits that would at least last 1 or 2 cycles, because sometimes you can't give them too much because they'll either lose it or it gets stolen or they don't have anywhere to store it. So it is a monthly need. So we would go out several times in the month and give out period products to those in need. And even to this day, we go to different encampments. We go to different places like North Valley Caring Services that have a homeless breakfast and shower program, and we provide for them. And we also provide for families that are living in motels.
Wow, I love that.
Nice. So as you were saying before, I think Laura said it, that she would go out handing registrations, and that's when she kind of saw the lack of period products. Would you say that was kind of like your aha moment for starting, or did you always like know that that's kind of a problem?
No, that was absolutely my aha moment. Something was triggered in me where I was like, oh, this cannot happen. I saw a woman bleed through the only pair of pants that she had, that she owned. The shelter didn't have any extra clothes from her. It didn't have showers. It didn't have available period products. The fact that this woman had to sleep in those pants and possibly bleed all over the cot, then have to wake up just to be asked to leave the next morning to take a bus somewhere to try to find a shower facility, to go wait in line, sign up for that shower, all just because she didn't have a pad or a tampon. And that's so important, how that one pad, that one tampon could have completely, helped her. And instead she was most likely embarrassed, mortified, looked at in the worst way, just because she didn't have that one item. So that was my trigger moment. When I asked the staff, why aren't there period products in the restrooms? They said, oh, they have to ask for them. We don't have them. We don't have funding. And, that wasn't an answer for me. That was an excuse. So, you know, I wanted to make the change. And so it was like the very next day I got a cardboard box and I went and sat in front of a Walmart and I said I was collecting period products for homeless shelters. And I did it for like 4 hours and I got like 2 boxes and I was like, it's not enough, but it's a start.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, that's definitely like, I mean, for someone, for like a woman to have to like only have like one pair of pants and go through that, I mean, that's traumatizing. Like, that's, you know, like no one should have to go through that. Like, last week we were talking about how like menstruation products are survival needs right up there with like food and water, you know, but like it's not like looked at that way, and it should be like it's like a basic need, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's like pads and tampons shouldn't be a luxury. If toilet paper and paper towels are for free, where's those period products, right?
for sure, 100%. And you know, that kind of like brings me into like the next question, because like, you know, well, first of all, period poverty is something that a lot of people don't even really like know about. And second of all, there's tons of like misconceptions, and I'm wondering what has been the biggest misconception or even challenge that you've encountered surrounding period poverty.
I think it's like also like the lack of accessibility. You know, like in high schools, middle schools, shelters, county buildings, government facilities, libraries, you never see period products anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, why not? That is exactly where it should be. Because it's not like we know exactly when we're going to get our period, you know, just like you're not sure when you're going to have to use the restroom. And so the fact is, if you can't access it easy, it's more than just a poverty issue. It's more of just like, it's a basic needs that should be provided. You know, if you're going to provide soap in bathrooms, this is just something that should come with it. But when we talk about the poverty side, you know, that there's people out there that have to decide, like, am I going to eat, or am I going to use this for period products? Is my child going to have diapers, or can I purchase period products? You know, it's a monthly need, and it's expensive. It's not just buying like the period products. You also got to think about like the painkillers, the acne medication, you know, the clothes. There's so much more that goes along with it. You know, some of us get cramps that are so bad we can't go to work. You know, so we're losing them on top of that. You know, it's like you have to adapt your lifestyle to your menstrual cycle so many times, right? If you do go to work or school and you bleed through your pants, you have to leave, so that could affect you academically and financially.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we were literally just discussing that in our last podcast. We were like, you know, people have families, like people have kids, and a box of tampons is like $9. And it's like why should a woman have to choose between like, am I gonna like buy my box of tampons here, or am I gonna like get dinner for my kids? You know what I mean? It's like, it's really it's a problem that shouldn't like be so like kind of like food or tampons, you know.
Yeah.
It's like
It's a battle that they're always going to lose. Like, people are always going to choose food over buying tampons or pads, and it's just sad that that's the choice that they have to make.
yeah, not to mention how that's also just like a hygiene problem. I mean, like, you have to change out your tampon. Like, you must change out like your pads and tampons, and like the fact that like you might have to like, I don't know, like if you leave it, if you, I don't, it's just, it can cause health problems. But yet, like, you still can't just like not like feed yourself or feed your family or something. So it's really, that's where like the struggle comes in, where it's like, this is like wrong. Like, this is complete, like, it's just wrong. Like, why am I having to like, my money is, I have to like choose where it goes. It's, you know.
Yeah. And then if you don't have access to the period products, you're going to resort to using something that's possibly unsanitary, socks or rags, anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
So what have the biggest barriers been for within your organization, like trying to raise awareness and trying to help people?
What do you think is it's always challenging breaking that stigma in different generations, different cultures. But with the pandemic, especially, it's been really hard trying to bring awareness. We used to go and speak to high schools and churches and women's groups and neighborhood councils, to be like, this is an issue. So we need to talk about it, and we need to be a part of solving this, right? But because the pandemic, we really haven't been able to network. So we have been relying on social media, but also like we used to have events every month where we were able to give out products directly to those in need. But since the pandemic hit, we got an amazing donation of 102,000 period products from CoTexU. We became part of the Alliance for Period Supplies, and those products are actually able to expand. So now supply period supplies to over 70 agencies in Los Angeles County. So every homeless shelter, every youth or TAY program, low income, Department of Child Family Services, sober living homes. So in that way, we were able to expand because everyone was sheltered at home, but not everyone. There's still people experiencing homelessness on the streets, but we were able to support them by supporting them through the agencies. So it was pretty amazing. We went from servicing the San Fernando Valley in the entire Los Angeles County, like 4,000 square miles.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that was another thing that like we started our project like a year ago, but now we're like, hey, like COVID has made period poverty like way worse. It's like made a really big impact on it. Like we were like trying to like do research for this last year, and we're like, wow, like it's kind of like hard to like find like that much information on this. But this year it's like no, like this is a thing, period poverty is a thing, and COVID is making it that much worse. Like it's really making it a problem. I mean, people are out of work, like people are yeah.
Or you can't even get to the grocery store if you have an underlying condition. You don't want to put the risk out there.
Oh yeah.
Not just being able to afford it, but not being able to feel safe enough to go and get it.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't even think of it like that. You're right. Like for sure, yeah. Like cuz exposure.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
So earlier when we asked you about barriers, you're talking about like generations and like kind of societal beliefs. Do you think it's easier with our generation to get the word out about this stigma against period poverty?
I'm gonna say that. Yes, absolutely. Like I feel like it's your generation that's gonna be to talk to your younger brothers and sisters, your older brothers and sisters, your parents, your grandparents. You're gonna bring this wisdom that they never even thought about. But they all struggle with it, or they're going to struggle with it. I feel like it's your generation that's proactive. You are going to be the next wave of advocates, and I am excited to see what you guys are going to do. I'm really excited to see it. Yes, you are going to be the big change that we want to see. Like I hope like we can set it up for you, and you can really, let's see how far you can take it.
So kind of on that, sorry. How has it been rewarding for you? Because you talked a lot about the barriers and the hardships, but like what has been the positive that you've seen?
Well, what I think is the most rewarding is the fact that we have, like political leaders seeing what we're doing and, giving us like grants and finances to keep this movement going, to bring period supplies to their areas. We have big corporations that see what we're doing and they just pretty much like say, here's a grant, we don't even have to apply for it. They usually make it pretty easy because, pretty much everything that, we're not paid staff, we're volunteers. We have one paid staff that we hired to be a driver. All the other, financials just go into just keeping the product getting out there, coming in, getting out, coming in, getting out. And, just seeing how many community members want to be involved in this, it's so exciting. Like I said, like we've collected and distributed over 210,000 period supplies. And that's all just from community donations, which is amazing. There's always a need. The community understands that. And there's always groups reaching out to us to host their own period supply drives to give to us.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing. Like, that's really like when people just like come together like that and like help out. I don't know, it's really cool.
I think it was also really cool to see like how many people were willing to reach out and volunteer their time, because since like people don't really talk about this, it's hard to know. And I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, we just had a group called the Litas. It's a female motorcycle collective, and they hosted a period product drive ride for us. And so we set up a table and 50 female motorcyclists all showed up at the same time with pads and tampons. And it was so amazing, so inspiring that, like we didn't ask them, they reached out to us.
That's really cool.
We have a really cool video that we just posted on our Instagram that shows the whole event. It's really awesome.
Yeah, check it out. Go on our Instagram or Facebook page, Sisters on the Streets.
Yeah, that's really cool, And speaking of social media, because social media is like a kind of like the way, right, to like kind of like get the word out about stuff. I checked out your guys' Instagram. I checked out your guys' website. I love it. And but I'm wondering, like, we're doing this, like we have like this podcast, we have our website and stuff where we're like trying to spread awareness. But my question to you guys is, how can we really spread more awareness on period poverty? Like make it known more widely that this is an issue. How can we just really get the word out there?
And I love that question. Thank you for asking it. Start your own period drive wherever you're at. It doesn't matter, like wherever you're at in the world, just start one drive and people are going to be like, what are you doing and why are you doing that? And from there, it's just going to expand. Even if you just do it once, you don't have to turn it into a nonprofit, continuing doing it every month. If you just do it once, at least people are going to know what you're doing.
You cut out a little bit at the end there, on my end at least. Could you repeat that last part?
Sure. So just start a period supply drive no matter where you're at in the world, because if you just do it once, at least 10 people are going to know what you're doing and they're going to know why. And, it's the ripple effect. It's going to go from those 10 people. And then if those 10 people started one drive, then you got 10 more people saying, why are you doing this? Right. And then 10 and 10. And, that's the easiest way to bring awareness, is to literally start a drive. Post on social media, talk to your friends about it, talk to your family about it, talk to your boyfriends about it. We need to educate the male generation more. And yeah, we really need just to bring awareness to this. It's a natural thing. Everyone's going to have it at some point in their life, whether it's a friend, family member, girlfriend. So we really just need to, spread awareness.
Right. Yeah, no, I love that, because like, I mean, when you have like drives, it's like you're like spreading awareness, but you're also like helping out. You're like, it's just like a cool way to like also like give back, and just like, you're doing both. Like you're spreading awareness and you're getting stuff that you're gonna like give to people who are struggling. So
yeah, like really important to get people aware of this topic. And on that, what What would you say, I guess, to people who see this as sort of like a taboo topic or think it's too uncomfortable to discuss in public? Like, what would be your response to that?
I mean, we can just all free bleed. I don't know. If that's more comfortable for us to start free bleeding, then let's do it. I don't know. That's what I would say.
Yeah. You know, it's funny like how even some women are like don't want to talk about it or something. Like I remember like in like 8th grade I had to like go change my pad. And my teacher was like, "Well, if you go to the bathroom, I'm going to give you paper pickup." And I'm like, "I'm literally having an emergency. Like I need to go." And she's like, "I'm sorry, those are my rules." And then she let this other girl, she got like a nosebleed or something, I don't know. And she's like, "Oh, if you're bleeding, then yes, I'll let you go to the bathroom. Like I won't like give you any paper pickup." And I'm like, I literally went to her after class. I'm like, "Hey, I was bleeding. Like girl to girl here. Like what was that? Like you literally made me pick up trash because I had to go like change out my pad." And she's like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like, this other girl, like you let her go." And she's like, "Oh well, she was bleeding." I'm like, "I was bleeding." Like what? Like hello? And she's like, "You know what? You're right." And she kind of like realized it, and she was like, "Yeah, like I'm gonna be more sensitive about that now." And I'm like, "Good." Like you should be,
Yes, that you spoke up about.
miss. Like so do you guys have any like closing remarks or anything that you want to add? Just anything about yourselves, about your organization?
Pads and tampons should not be a luxury. And the stigma. It's not just women that bleed. You know, there's a lot of menstruators out there. So, you know, let's get away from feminine hygiene, menstrual products. Let's call it what it is. Period products, right? You know, we have the trans community. So it should not just be in female restrooms. You know, we need to have these products everywhere.
Definitely.
Homeless or not, we all bleed. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Great.
Well, I think that concludes our podcast for today. I just wanted to say thank you both for joining us.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yes, and I also want to really quick say for the Flow listeners, you guys Instagram Sisters on the Street, at Sisters on the Street on Instagram, website sistersonthestreet.org. And if you guys want to contact them to get involved, volunteer, donate, anything like that, contact them at sistersonthestreet@gmail.com.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.